Hello, this is Mr. Afrell. I just want to talk a little bit about My Last Duchess by Robert Browning. So first of all, what's the poem about? So the poem is a dramatic monologue spoken from the perspective of the Duke of Ferrara, and he is talking directly to an emissary from the Count of Tyrol. And the subject that they're talking about is the potential for a new wife for the Duke. And on the surface, he is just communicating, showing this messenger around his house, pointing things out and talking about his life. But there's a subtext to what he's saying. There's something going on below the surface, and what's going on below the surface is a warning for the Count of Tyrol that if his daughter is to marry him, this is what she needs to expect. She needs to expect to be obedient, to be subservient, to be totally under the Duke's control, to treat him as if he is the most important person in their relationship. And if she doesn't, then she's in trouble, because the subtext is, what's hinted at is that he killed his former wife for acting in ways that he didn't think was appropriate. So that's what's going on in the poem. It's written about a real historical situation which happened in the 16th century, and it's kind of thought that the Duke of Ferrara did in fact kill his wife, but it's not written until the 19th century. So Robert Browning is a Victorian poet, and in terms of context, I think that idea of women and the position they hold in society is the most important to consider. So still in the Victorian era, there was a lack of power that women had, and still an expectation that they would be subservient to men. So that would be something to discuss in terms of why Robert Browning might have written this poem and what's going on in it. So a few quotes that I think it's worth to remember in terms of writing about. So the first one that I would remember is the short phrase, "I choose never to stoop." So this is the Duke saying that I choose never to stoop, and what he means by that, what he means by the verb stoop, is I would never go down to her level. He's saying that she did some things that were irritating to him, and he didn't like the way she was acting, but he wouldn't stoop down and have a conversation and point that out to her. That would be below him to do that. He would expect her just to know how to act. After that stoop, there is a caesura, so a full stop in the middle of that line, and that caesura is an important piece of punctuation, because it's a piece of punctuation of finality. He's saying, this is how I act. There is no argument. I don't expect a response from you. So that is a caesura that suggests power, authority, and no chance for a reply from the Duchess. Okay, second quote I'd remember is the one which is the one that seems to most clearly suggest that he actually killed his wife. I gave commands, then all smiles stopped together. Again, that line ends with the caesura. Again, a kind of moment of finality. This time, the moment of finality is her death. All smiles stopped together. Also worth zooming in on the noun smiles and talking about how smiles connote joy and happiness, and he is someone who brings an end to that in people. Okay, last quote that I remember is one right at the conclusion. He points something out to the messenger. He says, "Notice Neptune, though, taming a seahorse." And this is by far the best quote, I think, to talk about in terms of this poem. This is a moment of very clear symbolism. So Neptune, the god of the sea, is a symbol of who he sees himself as a godlike figure. So lots of kind of language analysis we can do in terms of that symbol. And then the seahorse is his past wife and the wife that he's expecting to have in the future, and he expects to tame her, to bring her under his control. So really interesting quote to explore in terms of what those symbols mean. Right, the bell's gone. That means I've got a lesson to go to, so I'm going to end the video there.